Morning. No, it's not even morning. It's afternoon now already. Thursdays fly by. Thursdays I don't have to be in work between 9 o'clock and about 2:30. So it's a day where I get to do things that I enjoy doing in my free time, such as go to the gym and make smoothies, which I've just done. So my legs are hurting. My arms feel a little bit tired. I wasn't very energetic at the gym today, but I pushed through and I went. Anyway, meditation. I've just been listening to the Duncan Trussell Family Hour podcast, which is a podcast that I listen to whenever there is one. I always see it and think I might delete it because it's probably not going to be any use. But then when I end up listening, I find I get it. It benefits me greatly. And today, I've just been listening to David Nickdern. I couldn't even begin to explain who he is, but he's a student of spirituality, let's say. And he was just talking about meditation. And it just got me thinking about it, so I thought I would say something. One of my favourite little quotes or quips, or whatever you want to call it, about meditation is, if you don't think you have time to meditate for 15 minutes a day, that's when you need to meditate for an hour. And I really like that, because everybody should have 15 minutes a day to sit and just be quiet and do some deep breathing, and either think or not think, depending on what kind of meditation you like doing. I practice meditation very, very sporadically. I've got a daily reminder to do it, which which may be a little counterproductive, because if you need to remind yourself to do things, but I think reminding yourselves to to have a healthy routine is a good thing. But I really do it, and it's something I'd like to improve on. I find benefit in meditation. I think if I've got a problem that I can't figure out physically, say I'm not feeling 100% mentally, or something's weighing on my mind, I do find that sitting still for, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, and breathing deeply and not concentrating on the perceived problem that I have, just calms me down, reminds me that actually everything is perfectly fine. There is nothing alright. There's nothing wrong, and there's nothing that's really insurmountable. So like I say, I do it sporadically, but I do it when I find it necessary, and it does help. And I think I don't really talk to people about this kind of thing very often, because I think it's a bit weird. And this is what led me to think this, was David Nickdern was saying that when he started meditating, it wasn't really a popular thing to do. People thought it was a bit weird and a bit geeky or nerdy or whatever. And I don't really speak in my social circles about stuff like this. Maybe only 1 or 2 friends I'll talk to about it, because it just doesn't seem to be a big part of our culture. This is really bothering me. I don't know why, but I moved it. It doesn't really seem to be a big part of our culture, and I think it's because it's kind of like a specific diet or a strict diet. Not everybody needs to diet, and not everybody needs to exercise to get the sort of perceived view of themselves as they want to be. And I think that's a bit like meditation. Not everybody needs to meditate. Some people just breeze through life and they're happy-go-lucky, and they don't let things bother them. But then you see the people that are particularly very negative, and every week is a new problem, or the same problems reoccurring. And I was certainly one of those people up until, well, I still am to an extent. But this is my point here: is I'm learning to manage it better by being good to myself and taking the time to just sit and breathe and think, and sort of reset your equilibrium. But yeah, some people breeze through life. Some people you see that are chronically stressed and always got a problem, and it's not necessarily stressed about important things. Man, this is going off onto a subject that I didn't anticipate talking about, which is another podcast I started listening to this week called The Minimalists. And basically these guys started living a minimalist lifestyle, which essentially is getting rid of everything that doesn't serve you and only keeping in your environment things that you need, things that benefit you. And that's something I really like the idea of as well. I think the more things you have, the more things you have to worry about. So something that was really beneficial for me was reducing the things that I had to worry about. So I don't really keep a lot of stuff in my flat. I don't have gadgets that I used to have. I rarely watch TV. So, when I first moved in, I felt I needed to buy a brand new TV because TVs are the focal point of the flat. Not anymore. The focal point of the flat for me now is just having an environment I enjoy being in, and not having to look at TV. If anything, I've lit more fires outside my flat this year than I have watched films or TV shows on the TV. That might be an exaggeration, but you sort of get the point of what I mean. So yeah, minimizing what we have minimizes what we have to worry about, in my opinion. This isn't going to be for everybody. I just thought I'd talk about it because it was pertinent at the moment in my head. And then meditation and learning to relax. I put it to somebody the other day. I can't remember if I put it correctly. I can't remember how I put it. But essentially, I view exercise now. Walking doesn't constitute exercising for me, because I walk everywhere. It's not deliberate exercise. It's just part of my day that I do. So in order to feel like I've had a workout, I have to do something additional, something deliberate, something purposeful. Like at the moment, I'm really enjoying kettlebells at the gym. And I liken that to meditation in that you can get home at the end of the day and you can just sit on the sofa and watch TV or read a book for 3 hours. But it isn't purposeful relaxation. It's just you're sat there being sedentary. This is no way meant to sound judgmental or anything like that. It's just musings and things that I've come to realize over the past year and a half, 2 years. Whereas meditation is deliberate resetting of your equilibrium. Take 10 minutes, take 20 minutes, take an hour if you need it. I've never meditated for longer than 25 minutes, I think. And that was about 2 years ago when I sat down the nap in the summer and thought I was a very spiritual person and connecting to the universe and nature on a deep level. What a joke. But at least I was trying. That's the thing. So yeah, I think it's very important for people's mental health, the people that need it, to do that. Practice meditation, practice resetting your equilibrium, de-stress at the end of the day, and just relax deliberately, not by watching trash TV. I think what you put into your head is massively important as well. It's the same as what you put into your body. Your body's gonna use the fuel that you put into it to create new cells. Bro science. And the same thing goes for your mind as well. The more good things you put in, the more positivity you put in, the better you're going to feel about your life. And stop watching nonsense on TV. It doesn't matter who got fired from The Apprentice or whatever. I don't know. That's an example I always come up with. Anyway, so yeah, another thing which I mentioned before is writing and journaling. At the end of every day, I've found it beneficial now to write out my thoughts, and it just sort of mentally declutters so that you can go to bed with an empty mind rather than a mind full of worry and woe. If that was interesting to anybody, leave a comment. Perhaps we'll get a discussion going. But like I say, I was just listening to something and I thought it would be a good idea to discuss. So meditation gets my thumbs up of approval, and it's something I'd like to start doing on a more consistent basis. But I understand the conundrum, oxymoronic nature of trying to force yourself to relax. It doesn't really work that way. I just think that if you're interested, then play about with it. If you'd like to listen to people discussing this, you can go to iTunes and search for Duncan Trussell and download his latest podcast, which is David Nickton and Emil Amos live from the Bell House. And I think it's going to be a very good 2-hour discussion. So I'm going to crack on with that now. I made a deliciously healthy smoothie for lunch, full of spinach, blueberries, cashews, coconut oil, raw chocolate. I think that's about it. Water and ice cubes. And I've got some nuts and cheese for a snack. And then this evening is chicken and vegetables again. Yeah. Feeling like it's going to be a good week. And I get paid tomorrow, which is going to... My plan for this month's money is to cut down... I've got a small credit card with about a £300 limit. I want to cut it down to 0 and then close the account. No longer need that. This is the year to be sensible like a grown-up so that I can be more playful with the money that I've saved and feel more like a kid. I do find there is a lot of freedom in strictness, if that makes sense. If you are dedicated to what you want to achieve and strict on yourself in those things like the gym and eating, then there is so much more freedom to be had with the way you move, the way you feel, the amount of money you can afford to spend, and all that jazz. I'm going to go now and go and see my parents and my sister and my brother and my dog. Hope everybody has a wonderful week or end to the week. It's Friday tomorrow. And so long.